That is a fantastic new single. That's Prima Donna from one of our favourite bands on the evening show, Marina and the Diamonds. Their brand new album is coming out very soon. It's coming out in a couple of weeks' time. And who better to ask all about this record than Marina and the Diamonds? Basically, it's Marina sat in the studio with me here on BBC Radio Wales. Good evening to you, Marina.
Good evening.
How are you? We've never met before. It's lovely to see you.
We haven't, but you've supported me a lot.
I've played your stuff endlessly on the programme because I love your tunes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Something I've got to mention, you're blonde. I was expecting a dark-haired girl to walk into the studio today. You've changed your image.
I have.
It's good.
Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah.
I like it.
Are people getting used to it?
Yeah, I think so. I think people wonder why. They're like so shocked. It's like, well, it is pop. It's like people change their hair quite a lot. But I've always wanted to be blonde, and it's kind of it's the hair colour of pop stars, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just thinking of great blonde pop stars. Blondie, Debbie
Madonna.
Harry. Madonna.
And like, it's a really symbolic thing, because you just think, if people would have perceived Madonna or like Marilyn Monroe differently if they had had careers as brunettes, I don't think it would have been the same.
Yeah.
So I'm just doing this for this album to make a point, but I'll be back to brunette.
The Police.
Before you know it.
They were blondes.
The Police.
Absolutely. Sting. Listen, it's great to have you on the programme. Tell me about the single that we just heard there then, Prima Donna. What's going on with that tune? Love that song. Tell me about it.
Thank you. Well, I wrote it in LA. The whole album is surrounds the theme of I hate to say heartbreak, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's not breakup, it's more about heartbreak. And if you're with someone who doesn't love you, all you want to do is be adored. So Prima Donna is kind of channeling that stereotype of like the kind of diva who all she wants is love.
I see. Yeah. You've always written, I think, from a personal point of view. That's what I've picked up in your songs. I'm guessing, looking at the expression on your face, that particular song is written from a personal point of view.
Yeah, I could never write in another way. I mean, I think some artists try and make stories or around real life themes, but I don't mind admitting it's about me. That's all I know. So I have to write about truth.
Yeah. And when you write about a song that's about something that's personal to you, how do you feel after that? Do you feel sort of better?
I feel a lot better, but then when people hear it, I cringe. Like, even now talking about it, but you have to talk about it, otherwise people won't make sense of it. They won't know, why is it called Electra Heart? Why are you wearing a heart on your cheek? It's all because, I'm talking about being hurt in love and how embarrassing that can be to admit it, No one wants to be the loser in love.
Do you want to be the loser in love?
No, you want to be the one who dumps people.
Absolutely. It's a power game.
It is.
It is a power game.
No, you've nailed it, actually.
I've nailed it. It's a power game, and even if you're hurt, you must never let it show.
You must never let it show. That's exactly.
I'm fine without you. I don't miss you. You're crazy. You might be burning inside, but never let it show.
And you're the first person ever to say that, and that really clinches the Electra Heart ideal and concept.
Yeah.
Because I've got songs like Power and Control, Home Wrecker, which all kind of channel that idea.
Yeah.
No one wants to admit that they've been crushed.
Absolutely not.
So lame.
I don't want to pry, but the person that you wrote that song about, do you know if they've heard it or?
I don't care.
You don't care.
He was. I mean, none of the songs are specifically about a boy. It's more that before I wrote the record, I had an experience with someone which wasn't very nice, and it kind of set the tone for the record and made me create this ideal of love, which when a relationship ends, you kind of, until you find the next person, everything that you base love upon is based on that last relationship. So if it ended particularly bitterly, you've got a bit of a jaded view.
That's right.
If you were the dumper, you're like, oh, love's great.
And And you're surrounded by people who are saying, forget it, move on. And I just think
at the time, they were like, he's a loser and he doesn't like you enough. And I was like, yeah, but he might be right for me. It might work.
But a good album's come out of it. Now, you've been working on the new album. The new album has got the title of Electra Heart.
Yeah.
The songs for the record, were they all written especially for this project, or were they just the latest batch of Marina songs?
No, they were all written for this project. It was a very hard selection process because there were some songs that are good, but they just didn't fit the concept.
Yeah.
So they kind of got shoved on the deluxe edition. So, but the standard edition, that's like the purest form of my world.
Yeah. This next tune you're going to play for us from the new album is called Home Wrecker. Tell me a little bit about this song.
It's the role reversal again. If you don't want your heart broken, you have to be a heartbreaker.
All right.
/ homewrecker.
You've done a twist. I never quite know what to call her. Is it Marina? Is it Marina Diamond? Is it Marina and the Diamonds? It's all incredibly confusing, but this is what she had to say about that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I am called Marina and the Diamonds. It's a project as opposed to me being a solo artist, but
That's the name of your. It's a bit like Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. That's the name of his act.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I've always created kind of multimedia projects which involve the public. So the Diamonds are the audience, and the end.
At the end. That's a good enough answer for me. You've been working on the new album for quite a while now. Tell me about the production of the record. Who did you work on the new album with?
Well, I did about 9 tracks with Rick Knowles, who's a really old school American songwriter, and Greg Kirsten, who I worked with on the last album.
Yeah.
I did 2 tracks with Liam Howe called Teen Idol and one called Fear and Loathing. And then I did 2 tracks with Dr. Luke.
Right. So this is songwriting.
Yeah, because you've got to be comfortable, otherwise you're not going to write good songs.
Can you usually tell within half an hour if it's not going to work with somebody?
Yeah. It's funny because I did a session 2 years ago, the only one I've ever not agreed to doing. I didn't want to do it, and it didn't work out because I knew it wouldn't work. And then I did a session with the same person a week ago just to kind of test, just in case, and it still didn't work out. This is a real chemistry thing, collaborating.
It's either there or it's not, really.
Yeah, it's not just like a formulaic thing at all.
And how does it work? Do you get into a room with a songwriter and you sit there with a blank piece of paper and a couple of guitars or a keyboard or something and start from scratch, or do you have ideas before you go in?
It can be, all of those. If I'm on my own, write the song, I go to someone like Liam Howe because he will just produce, so he won't really co-write. With Greg, I took a verse to him that I hadn't been able to complete myself into a full song, and we worked on that. And it's really weird when you're with people, you suddenly get the chorus and you see what the concept of the song should be. It's like, duh, it's so obvious. Why couldn't I get that on my own?
Yeah, and the last album, The Family Jewels, was a huge success for you, which is lovely to have. But are you aware that you have to follow that up? Is that a pressure on you, if you like?
Aware as in I think and I hope I can do a lot better, because The Family Jewels was my first effort, and it was, when I listen to it now I think, oh god, it's really amateur, but
amateur? Great.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, just I hate my voice on it. I think it's natural for musicians to kind of cringe a bit. But I mean, I hope to do a lot better in my life and in my career.
But so. I mean, I would imagine from a record company's point of view and from a success point of view, the first album did so well. Surely they want you to do the same again, but you probably want to do something slightly different. Or is that not the case?
But probably I would like to achieve more, you know, in terms of recognition. I still think that I'm not a mainstream act yet.
No, okay. Let's have a track from that first album. I Am Not a Robot, which was
your favourite.
It is my favourite. I've played this many times on the programme, and I played it again last week, I think, and it still sounds like a great pop song to me. It's only a couple of years old, isn't it? It's not really
it's only 2 years. Yeah.
Only 2 years old. And then we'll have more chat with Marina right after this. There you go. I Am Not a Robot, Marina and the Diamonds. That's a bit of an oldie but a goldie now, but I love that tune. It's one of those records, that one when you came out. Marina, by the way, is my special guest on the programme. When you first hear that record, you go, what? What on earth is that? That's great. It sort of took you by surprise. Yeah, it's a very unusual record and quite an unusual song.
Yeah.
When you write something like that, you must know that you've done something slightly special.
Yeah,
Are you aware of
with that song specifically.
Yeah.
Out of the whole album, maybe it was that song that when I finished, I thought it wasn't like, oh, I've done something really unique. It was like a feeling that I'd written a song that many people would be able to relate to. Yeah, and when you do songs live now, and you play in front of a big audience, and there's hundreds of kids there all singing back the lyrics that you wrote in your bedroom or whatever, is that, I often think with artists, that must be such a strange sensation and also a huge thrill, I would imagine. I think I will experience and feel that more on this second album, because the first one, it's almost like I wasn't living in the present, like I was looking so much ahead because I knew I had a lot to do. Whereas with this second record, I feel like I've finally contributed something to music, and with having 2 albums behind me, and I'll be able to enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
But because I haven't really thought about that, like, wow, this is weird. Like I was writing in my bedroom, and now people are singing it back. Because
when you're in that position, you became this big pop star. Obviously, your album was very successful. All of a sudden, you're living the dream, so to speak. You're working very hard. You're touring, and so on. Are you in a little bit of a daze when that's happening to you?
Definitely. Oh my God. I mean, you think you're not at the time, but looking back, I was so, obsessed with what blogs are saying and, what other people think about you. And really, you're not doing it for that at all. You're doing it because you think that you write good music and,
of course,
that you want to make people happy. So it is a strange thing. Yeah, people definitely get in a bubble. Because if you think like, it's weird because I'm on the radio now, and so people listening will think, oh, it's, Marina and the Diamonds, she's a singer. But really, the reality of the singer is like, it's just so weird. You get up at 5, you go into 2 hours of hair and makeup, you've got to sing at 7 a.m. on TV, and then you're trucked off to somewhere else. And it's basically that until about 10 p.m. at night every day while you're on promotion, which is exciting, but it's a weird life. It is. Weird life.
I always think that when acts like yourself come in, they're doing radio tours and all the stuff that you just said there, the overwhelming thing I always find with them is that they're tired.
Yeah,
it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, my voice is screwed at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great, but I mean, we think it's a very glamorous lifestyle, which I'm sure in certain times it is, but also it's incredibly hard work.
Yeah, it's funny, and I think once I kind of accepted that, is that pop is is just based on illusion, and it should be. It should be noted as a surreal world where you can make things look like a fantasy, but that's all it is. It doesn't go beyond that. I don't look like this normally, videos and photo shoots are all sculpted to make someone look way better than they are and way more interesting. And I should never try and live up to that. So once you accept that and you understand that, it's all great.
Yeah. The image that you got today, you got sort of a 50s kind of Marilyn Monroe thing going on.
Thank you.
Yeah, is that what you're aiming for? Is that the sort of image?
Yeah, well, actually, the image for the whole album is kind of Marie Antoinette, Marilyn Monroe, Madonna, and then I'm Marina, so it's 4 M's.
Yeah, all the M's. They're all there.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Let's have another track from the new record.
Yes.
Because we're going to make the most of you while you're in the studio today, Marina. So what do you fancy spinning next?
I will spin Valley of the Dolls. It's a creepy, dark electronic song. For me, it's one of the most beautiful on the record. It was written in Santa Monica. I was staying in a motel on Ocean Drive, and I'd watched Valley of the Doll. Actually, I'd read and watched it about 2 years before, and I thought it fitted the aesthetic perfectly. It basically discusses, kind of sleeping pill culture a little bit. Because the first line is in the Valley of the Dolls we sleep. Yeah. And it kind of, it's centered around identities and how we change persona in relation with who we're talking to and what environment we're in. So there you go.
From the new album called Valley of the Dolls. So San Francisco 60s image. You seem to be very sort of drawn towards that kind of period.
It's because it's so foreign to me. I grew up, as most people will know, in a village called Pandy near Abergavenny. Yeah. So that culture is attractive to me because I'm not really part of it. So films like Paris, Texas, Valley of the Dolls, they conjure up that kind of 70s
That kind of 70s,
era.
60s, 70s image. Yeah, of course. And you wrote that song that we just did there, as you say, in Santa Monica, in Los Angeles. So that's a million miles away. Not literally, but it's a long way from Pandy and Abergavenny.
It is.
When you're sitting in that situation, I mean, at heart, are you still a Welsh girl?
Yeah, I am. Sorry, I was just thinking about something else. People always ask why I love America. I just figured out why.
Why?
I'll say
Hang on, let me change the question. You love America, don't you?
I do love America. I am very much Welsh girl at heart, though my mum is very Welshy. She has a lovely accent. And she is my best friend in the world, and she lives in Abergavenny. So.
Does she? Mm-hmm. Do you get back to Abergavenny very often?
I do. When I'm off campaign, I do a once-a-month trip. So, do you know what? It's funny because Abergavenny is really only the only place that feels like home, like where I've come from, even though I'm half Greek. Yeah. Because I lived there most of my life. So. Right, yeah.
But you do love the States, and you've toured in America as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I was just saying, I've asked so much, what is it? This second album, you're still stuck on this American obsession. But this time, it's not really an ironic look at, the kitsch glamour like Hollywood was on my last album. I think I like it because I feel like when I go over there, I can disconnect from reality. And I know it's quite a cliched thing for artists to say, but I have a huge imagination and I love fantasy. And I think the message in American culture really reinforces that. It's like you can be anyone, you can do anything, no matter where you've come from or who you are. And I think that's really intoxicating.
Yeah.
It's like you feel like nothing's real there, which is perfect for me because I don't want to live, in the everyday life sometimes. That's why I'm an artist. I create worlds.
Of course, yeah, you create fantasy
Yeah.
worlds. Is it a fantasy world in your head?
Yeah, I mean,
Electro
Electro Heart, it's people think I've imagined some alter ego up, but it's not. It's more a way to express things that I don't want to admit.
Yeah. How real is the real Marina to the pop star Marina?
I don't think there's much difference. I think what people perceive the pop star as is what they see in videos and photos, whereas with the interviews, I'm just like this.
Yeah.
I'm a normal person.
Yeah, you seem very down to earth, actually, which in your position isn't always easy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's because I haven't succeeded and got number one yet. After that, I will be a troll from hell.
If this goes to number one, you're going to be a nightmare.
I'm going to be a nightmare. I'm never going to come back until I'm all washed up, and I'll be like banging on your door. Please, Dad, and let me in.
10 years' time, you'll be there. Remember the I'm Not a Robot days? I say, yeah, when you were a big star, you said, how'd you get this number? Not going to happen.
Amazing.
It ain't going to happen.
Brilliant.
You've toured, we're nearly done, you've toured with some amazing people. Did you support Coldplay?
Yes, one date, and I'm supporting them this year as well.
Yeah, so that, I would imagine, was a big place you played, a big venue. That
Yes, and actually Katy Perry as well gave me a support slot on her tour in the summer last year. So that was in America.
So when you're playing, I guess you're playing big arenas.
Yeah,
when you do
they're
that
like,
stuff.
Katie's was between like 15 and 20,000. And so is Coldplay's in America, and then I think in Europe they're a bit bigger. So.
Yeah. What's the big major difference, apart from the size, obviously, of playing a smaller venue to playing a huge auditorium where you're supporting Coldplay or Katy Perry?
Well, people don't know who you are, for
Right.
one, which is a good thing because it challenges you to get their attention.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I guess, well, your energy has to... You can't just like lash out and make everything seem bigger just because you're in a bigger place. You have to kind of be a lot more controlling and focused. It's interesting. It's great to train. Training as a performer, it doesn't get better than playing arenas and stadiums.
And does that give you a taste for it? Because you seem quite ambitious. I'm guessing you want to be as successful as possible and be a big star, really. So
well, do you know what? It doesn't sound like a very ambitious thing to say, but I don't know if I will ever play stadiums. Like very few acts get to. But I think in my career I will play arenas, and I hope that will prepare me for that. So, yeah, it's good to be asked.
And I guess you're going out on the road now to support the new record.
Yes. I've got a tour called the Lonely Hearts Club.
The Lonely Hearts Club.
Fit the theme.
You've been hurt, haven't you?
I have.
That's the theme I'm getting with this album, with the Lonely Hearts Club thing. The vibe we're getting today. Somewhere down the line, you've had a bruising.
Yeah. Do you know what? It might actually. The thing is, though, I don't want people to feel sorry for me because.
No, that's okay. It's allowed.
Yeah.
You made a beautiful
well,
record off
do
the
you know
back
what?
of it.
I have like a theory as well. With love is very cyclical, as is karma, and I feel like maybe I have been not very nice to people in the past, and now it comes back on you. Because even with some of the people who inspired the record, they are kind of like, I've seen them get screwed over.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe it's because you screwed me over.
Yeah. My Name is Earl. Remember that TV show?
My name is Earl. This is My Name's Earl all over again.
My name is Marina. Yeah. You're getting it back, but that's okay.
But it's good because now I'm not heartbroken. I'm like, I feel really cold about the whole thing. And I'm like, I'm going to have to promote this album and pretend I'm heartbroken.
Listen, it's great to meet you. You're lovely to speak to. One more track from the album if you fancy playing now, Marina. We've got a bunch of them, so let's finish with another gem. What do you fancy playing?
Do you fancy a pop song or a more alternative?
Alternative. Give me a sad.
Sad one.
I want sadness. You get to a certain age in life, you're miles
you
from
want
this.
sadness.
I'm 48, right? I cry at virtually anything these days. That's just what happens to guys of my age. Give me sadness. Give me a heartbreaker.
All right. This next song is called Teen Idol.
Right.
Spell IDLE.
As in lazy.
Yes.
Okay, let's listen to that then. This is Marina and the Diamonds, Teen Idol, spelt IDLE.
Thank you so much.
That's really nice.
Such a joyful interview.
Thank you.